People ask me how I got started in my personal growth journey, and I'll often share how this went down, how it actually happened. Well, I think it's two stages. It's stage one, which was shelf help. So let's say that was about a decade where I got interested in improving myself. So I started to read a lot of books. Science of Getting Rich, Think and Grow Rich, and the list goes on and on and on. U Squared, all the standards, everything that falls into that genre of self-help, personal growth. And now we call it shelf help. And the reason being is because nothing really changed. So what's stage two for me? Well, I got to a certain point where nothing was changing. Everything had stagnated. I'd reached the top. I couldn't go any further with my personal growth journey. My business had stagnated, so had my income, and I knew I needed to infuse something into me. I needed a blueprint, and I needed a mentor, and I needed it right now. I kept on telling my wife, I need a guide, I need a blueprint, I need something. Well, nothing was apparent to me. I went to New York. I flew to New York City to go see Harry Potter, Cursed Child. I brought Lucy there to see that on Broadway. And I was working out in the basement of the hotel in Greenwich Village. And I put my phone up the same way I'm kind of doing here now. I propped it up to run and go for a jog on the treadmill. And Bob Proctor came on, who is now my mentor. And he said, and I was going to listen to something motivational to run. And he said, sales is a transference of energy. I thought, well, that's interesting. What the hell is this old man talking about? But I continued to listen, and I listened a little bit more and a little bit more. And the next thing I knew, I listened for 20 minutes and then 30 minutes. And I couldn't put it down. I logged at least 10 hours of his material over the course of that weekend in New York City because I could not stop listening to what he was sharing. Something clicked with me. Something unlocked. So much so that when I got home, back to Michigan, I picked up the phone and called Proctor Gallagher Institute after I Googled it and had no idea what I was doing. And I asked them, like, what is this? Like, what can I do here? Can I be coached? Like, what are the opportunities? And they said, well, you can be a coach or you can be a student. I said, well, tell me more about that. What's the difference? They said, well, you can be coached by one of our coaches, or you can be a consultant from Bob Proctor Consultant. I said, well, just tell me the difference. And they shared it with me. And then they told me the amount, how much it would cost to go through the consulting program. And I swallowed my tongue, and I don't think I said a word for about 30 seconds. And he said, are you there? I said, yeah, I'm here. He said, what's your decision? I said, well, I don't know. I need to think about it. And this is the life-changing moment for me. He knew more than I did. He said, you got to think about it. What do you need to think about? I said, I need to think about this decision. That's a lot of money. That's someone's annual salary. He said, right, exactly right. He said, so are you telling me you haven't thought about it thus far? I said, no, I have. He said, so what is there to think about? You called here, your plan's not working. We have a formula that's proven to get the results you're looking for. And you need to think about it? Well, see, at the time, I didn't understand exactly what he was saying, but I knew enough. It resonated with me enough because I knew he was frickin' right. He got me. He knew exactly what he was talking about, which is my plan wasn't working and I didn't have another one. I wanted to improve my income, my well-being, increase my sales, increase my business, my leadership skills. All of that had flattened out and I needed to infuse something in me. And I didn't have another plan, and he was absolutely right. And so what he was talking about, by the way, if you're watching this live, tell me you're watching it live. Just type in pound live or pound later if you're catching this one on a replay. And if this is resonating with you, I do a masterclass on this and a webinar. So the link is somewhere in this video. This concept of decision is what he was talking about. And it has since become the linchpin of my entire framework for business success. It doesn't matter which business I'm talking about. Decision. I've come to find out, and when you look at this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he states that of all the people, he spent 25 years writing and documenting and studying the most successful people that were walking the planet at the time. A quarter of a century. It's hard to imagine spending that much time committed to something. And he was asking the questions and documenting and researching And after all that, after a quarter of a century, he came to a conclusion. There is a common denominator between all of these men. We're talking about Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Harvey Firestone. These were the multimillionaires and billionaires of the time. It's like Jobs and Gates and Musk of the time. So this was worth listening to. And here's the common trait. He said that they all had one thing in common, is they made decisions extremely quickly. And they changed their minds slowly, if at all. And I could read those pages, and I read that book 10 years ago, and that didn't even resonate with me. I'm like, that's great. So they're great decision makers. There's something so powerful in that, though. What I learned was there's a reason why they do that. And I'm going to share with you what that is. It's because when we make a committed decision, in the moment of decision, and we're making a committed decision, we are cutting all ties from any possibility of retreat. And that is a powerful moment because of the frequency that we're on when we do that. If we're here and the goal is here, the thing that we want, when we make a committed decision and we've decided we're stepping into that this is happening. There is no possibility that this is not going to happen. We then raise our vibration and we are in vibrational harmony with that goal in that instant. And that has changed my life. And the reason is because I do not need to take a long time to think about it. I think about things all the time. When the opportunity arises, I simply decide. And then I make a committed decision. This is going to happen. And then I reorient my entire world around that. If this is resonating with you, I encourage you to grab that link and register. Just take that free class that I did on this, and I'm going to share with you more. I go much deeper on this. This is the most powerful thing. People ask me, you're a Bob Proctor coach. What's the most important thing that you've ever learned? What did you really learn that you can apply? And the most important thing that you've gotten out of this, beyond wealth accumulation, multiple sources of income, leadership, calmness of mind, all of that, it's decision making. First and foremost, to make a committed decision and to step into it. And the reason why I say that this is something that almost eluded me is because in that moment when he asked me, are you up for this? I almost didn't do it. I didn't know it was at play here, but I knew enough. I knew enough that this, in my heart, it resonated with me. That's the thing, is I listened to my intuition. Before I even honed that skill through this coaching program, I listened to my heart. It told me that this is the right thing to do. And I trusted. And I went forward. And that has been the defining moment. Decision making, a committed decision. We've all heard the story of the captain who took his men on the ship to the island and told his men that they're going to take the island. And they all got off the ships and they got onto the land, and then he instructed the archers to fire their fiery arrows back at their ships, thereby burning them in the water. And the men were like, what are you doing? Why would we ever do that? How are we going to get home? And his response was, we're not going home. They took the island. Victory was theirs. And the reason is because they made a committed decision and they cut off all ties for retreat. They couldn't go home. And that gave them that special something to follow through, no matter what. This is the secret sauce. This is the stuff that's missing from decisions. If you find yourself wavering or waffling back and forth between should I and shouldn't I, this is what I'm talking about. If you're using words like, maybe I should do that this year. I should see if I could try to do that. That's not what I'm talking about. It's a difference between being committed and being interested. When you're interested, you'll do merely what comes easy or what's the path of least resistance. When you're committed, and by the way, when you're just simply interested, all of your excuses, all of your rationalizations, all of your reasons will be here. And that goal will be down here. It will dwarf the goal. I know this very well because I did that for 20 years. When you're committed, however, you will increase your self-image. You'll dial the image up to match the goal. You will learn, you will study, you will improve, you will do everything you can so that becomes a reality, and you'll step into it. I've learned that we get assistance from unseen guides, spirit, intuition. God force, infinite intelligence, will come to our aid, but not when we don't make a committed decision. Only when we've committed and we say, this is the way it's going to be. Move out of my way. I've got work to do. You see, the people, the circumstances, and the events will show up. They'll show up. Well, how are you going to do that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't need to know that. In fact, I don't want to know all the answers, because I love surprises. I love miracles. I love a phone call, a text, a letter. I love surprise checks in the mail. It tickles me pink. My wife likes it too. These are the things that happen when you make a committed decision and you step into that. We will attract to us what we are in vibrational harmony with, and only what we are in vibrational harmony with. We will also then repel those people, circumstances, and events that we are not in vibrational harmony with. So if you say, I want this, but then you're not acting like the person who would have it would be acting, you're not in vibrational harmony. It's quite that simple and yet all that elusive of a concept. If you want to go somewhere on a trip or have the thing, then act like that person would act. And I'm not talking about going out and charging your damn credit card. I'm talking about making decisions like that person, stepping into it, talking like that person, acting like that person. When? Now, right this moment. Don't wait until you've arrived. When you get in frequency, you're in harmony. Harmony is resonance. And that's how the universe works. Hopefully this resonates with you. And if you want to go further with this, click on the link and I go deeper on this topic. Decision making. It is the key to everything, and it saved my life. And I think that when you go deeper on it yourself, you'll find it's going to save yours. Take care. We'll see you soon.